Yeah, this is gonna be a fun episode. Am I the a-hole because I won't let my partner set 17 alarms every morning? Nah, you're joking, right? 17 alarms to get up in the morning. I only ever use 2, and there are a couple of times that I use 3, but I thought 3 was ridiculous. Every single morning my partner sets like 17 alarms starting at 6 a.m. I don't need to be up until 8. The alarms go off every 5 minutes. They snooze them all, and then they roll over and go back to sleep instantly while I'm laying there wide awake reconsidering my life choices. Yeah, that's not okay. So, like, when does your partner actually need to get up? It said there, I don't need to be up until 8. Does your partner need to be up at 8 as well? But they set 2 hours of alarms beforehand. This morning I grabbed their phone and I turned off the last 10 alarms. They woke up late, they got mad and said that I sabotaged their system. Am I the a-hole? OP said, this morning I grabbed their phone and I turned off the last 10 alarms. So, like, you turned off all the last alarms, so then there were no alarms on. They woke up late, they got mad and said that I sabotaged their system. So, like, you turned off their last 10 alarms so that they wouldn't wake up. Yeah, I don't really understand that. Like, this morning I grabbed their phone and I turned off the last 10 alarms. Like, what are you achieving by doing that? Is there any more information here that should probably be in the post? OP does have a comment that says, fair point, they're responding to a different comment. It's been going on for months, and I've brought it up a bunch of times. They always say that they'll try to fix it, but nothing ever changes. I was driven to this madness. Yeah, well, no wonder you're frustrated. You've brought it up to your partner a bunch of times. It's not like it happened once. It's not like OP hasn't tried to talk to their partner about it. They have. And they always say that they'll try to fix it, but nothing ever changes. I mean, like, turning off their alarms obviously isn't gonna fix it, but does it make you the a-hole in this situation? From what I can see here, it's pretty much a not the a-hole consensus. This comment says, info, how long has this been going on? Have you brought this to their attention before? And how did they respond then? And OP said months. And yeah, they said they'd change right after just 5 more minutes. I just bought these little things, like these little earbud things that you sleep with. They connect to your phone and they have noise cancelling, and they play like white noise and stuff like that if you sleep super lightly. But something cool about these is that they have like alarms in them. Something like this would be awesome for OP's partner, because 17 alarms might be going off, but they're going off in your earphones. This comment says that system works for a single person, not for somebody who has a partner sleeping next to them. Have you talked with them already and proposed alternatives and tried to get to a solution that would work for both of you? If yes, then not the a-hole. If you just turned off the alarms without discussing it with them first, then you the a-hole. Yeah, I'm no stranger to bad sleep, so I can definitely sympathize, but at the same time, you can't have like heaps of alarms going off that are ruining your partner's sleep. But also OP turning off all of the alarms so that they didn't even wake up. Like, they didn't even leave like the last alarm on. That doesn't really help matters either. But I can see why they're frustrated. They've repeatedly asked their partner said they'd do something about it, and they didn't. Communication is definitely the answer. This comment says, if you turned off the first 10 alarms instead, and you left the last one on so that they could still wake up when they have to, they're not the a-hole. Turning off their alarms without prior discussion and making them late for work, that makes you the a-hole, but justified. Your partner needs a new morning routine or needs to sleep alone. And the response says maybe needs a new evening routine. What time do they go to bed? What are they doing during the night that makes them not wake up relatively naturally after 7 to 8 hours of sleep? What sleeping drugs are they using? Yeah, like obviously OP shouldn't have turned off all of their alarms and not even left a single alarm on. But that sort of feels like a small part of like a bigger problem, you know? Like, there needs to be clear communication. There needs to be like a plan. There needs to be effort being made from OP's partner. Like what OP did turning off all the alarms doesn't help anything. Like, maybe their partner's gonna think about it now or something. But yeah, from what I can see here, it's a not the a-hole consensus. Some of the comments are like, you the a-hole, but justified. And some of the comments are a little bit extreme, but that happens on every single post. Okay, post number 2. Am I the a-hole for asking my girlfriend to tell me what flavor of smoothie she wanted? How is this gonna be an issue? Okay, what flavor do you want? pay with your blood. Why won't you die? I, 24 male, stopped on my way home to pick up a smoothie for my 23 female girlfriend, Evangeline. Evangeline? She's pregnant and is craving smoothies, so I thought it'd be a nice surprise for her. She always drinks the strawberry banana smoothie, so that's what I got for her. But when I got home and I gave it to her, she didn't want it. She said that she doesn't feel like bananas and asked me to get her a different flavor. I asked her what kind she wanted and she said that she didn't know. I told her that I need to know what flavor. Yeah, what? Buys her the one that she always drinks. She doesn't want it because she doesn't feel like bananas. Is asking OP to get her a different flavor. OP's asking her what flavor and she said that she doesn't know. OP's gonna get a different smoothie and it won't be something that she wants. Evangeline said, just get me what I like. And I told her that I don't know what flavor she likes besides strawberry banana. She started to get frustrated and said that I know the other ones that she likes. I had zero clue. She's never asked me for anything other than strawberry banana. I repeated myself multiple times that I don't know what she wants, and she started to cry and said that I was pressuring her too much over a smoothie. She's been in a bad mood ever since and has barely spoken to me all evening. Am I the a-hole for asking my girlfriend to tell me what flavor of smoothie she wanted? Nah, that's wild. I think it's kind of wild that she even expects you to go get a different smoothie. Like what? You stopped on the way home to pick up a smoothie for your girlfriend. So now what? You're going out again because you got the wrong flavor, but you still don't know what flavor to get because she won't tell you? How ridiculous. She asked me to get her a different flavor. And then OP's asking her what one she wants. And then she says that OP's pressuring her too much over a smoothie. Well, here's an idea. Drink the one that OP already has. Then there's no pressure at all. How close are you to the smoothie place, OP? Yeah, I don't know. If Chloe surprised me with a smoothie, but it wasn't like the exact flavor that I felt like, I would never be like, oh, can you go back and get me a different one? But then also not say what flavor you actually want. It's definitely a not the a-hole consensus in the comments. The top comment says, not the a-hole, she sounds hormonal from the pregnancy. Don't say that to her though. OP said, I will avoid saying that to her. And the response says, yep, I was exactly this psycho when I was pregnant, lol. Poor husband. This comment says, not the a-hole, yeah, she's pregnant, but does she expect you to know through osmosis what she wants? You were just trying to do a sweet thing for her. And the response says, my man, it's pregnancy. No, she's not thinking straight, so give her a break. No a-holes. Like, yeah, but also she didn't talk to OP all night because of this. That's wild. Acting like OP's done something horrible. And OP's got a comment that says, she told me that our dog would never let her down. I don't know how to feel about being compared to the dog, but it was the most that she said to me since the smoothie incident. So I'll take it. OP also has this comment. She has come around a little bit today. She wanted snuggles and waffles this morning. So she got snuggles and waffles. And the waffles were exactly how she wanted them. Thank God. Yeah, OP's not the a-hole for sure. Yeah, she's pregnant. Give her some grace. Yeah, for sure. But in this situation, she's still in the wrong. Didn't talk to OP all night. And then said, oh, the dog wouldn't disappoint me. What the hell? That's ridiculous. OP does have a comment that says she was very apologetic to me today. Right, okay, so that's good. Moving on. Would I be the a-hole if I counter-sue for what I consider an accident for the cake that this other woman's daughter wrecked after she ran into me? In the middle of June, I just picked up a custom chocolate cake from a bakery that cost me $65. On the way back to the car, a woman and her 2 kids were coming out of a church across the street where a wedding was taking place. I crossed at a crosswalk about half a block from the church. I saw the mother telling her little girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old and dressed in a very nice white dress, to stop jumping around and to stay still. The girl didn't listen. She ran off laughing and looking backwards instead of paying attention and ran straight into me. I dropped the cake and it hit the ground on impact. Chocolate went everywhere, on the pavement, on me, and all over the little girl's dress. The mother came running, screaming at me. There were at least 2 people behind me and another woman on the church property who saw it happen. The mother kept on yelling that I'd ruined her daughter's dress and that I owed her money for a new one, and that I needed to give her cash so that she could buy a replacement before the ceremony. I told her it was an accident. Her daughter ran into me and I wasn't paying for it. She kept on screaming profanity, loud enough that somebody called the police. When officers arrived, she tried to claim that I threw the cake on her daughter and I should pay for the dress. But another witness confirmed what really happened. The mother had told the girl to stop running and the girl ignored her, and she crashed into me, causing the cake to fall. The woman still wouldn't calm down until the police nearly arrested her, and then only after her relatives came out of the church to help. She demanded reimbursement and threatened to sue me. At the time, no one exchanged information, but somehow she found out my name and address. Later, I learned that somebody had filmed the whole thing and the video got back to me. Sure enough, she served me with papers. She's suing me for $3,000 for a new dress, assault, and emotional distress. Would I be the a-hole if I countersued for the cost of the cake her daughter ruined because of her poor parenting? Honestly, I'm not too worried about winning or losing since I've got video evidence, and I have multiple witnesses showing that it was an accident, and her child caused it. Updating to clarify a few things instead of repeating it in the comments. The cake was in a box with a lid, but when it hit the ground it opened and exploded. It was a soft cake with a lot of chocolate icing, so it got all over my pants and the bottom of the little girl's dress. It was enough that it was really noticeable. And to clarify, I'm not mad at the little girl. I'm completely gobsmacked by how her mother handled the situation. She could have taken some accountability, or apologized, or even made it a learning opportunity for her child. Something as simple as, this is why when I tell you to stop running and listen, because now your dress is soiled for the wedding. But instead she threw a fit and accused everybody else of her own poor parenting. And then it escalated to the point where the police were called. And after embarrassing herself and almost getting arrested, she still acted like the victim. She could have let it go and moved on. For those wondering how she got my name and address, I don't live in a highly populated area and I'm on social media, and the video of the incident was sent to me by somebody that I didn't even know. Somebody that she knew must have recognized me. Once you have a name, finding the address isn't difficult. She even had a prosecutor serve me. I haven't had any contact with her in any way since the incident. I'm also surprised by how many people believe that you need a lawyer to file in small claims court. All I have to pay to countersue is $100. From what I've read, I technically can claim lost wages, but they won't be granted. Realistically, the most I'll get back is my filing fee and the cost of replacing the cake. Some people have also said that I should have been able to prevent the accident because I saw them before I crossed the street. That's true, I did see them, but the little girl was on the grass the entire time. At no point did she step onto the sidewalk until the moment of impact. I'm not psychic, and there was no way that I could have predicted that she would suddenly run off the grass and straight into me. It all happened in literal seconds. Another update. Tomorrow I'm going to go down and file my counterclaim, as today's a holiday. I spent the better part of a few days researching, and I think I'm going to ask for 1.00 plus my filing fee, and take a page out of celebrities who've been wrongly sued for stuff to prove a point. I don't want to look petty, but I sure want the judge to rip that woman a new one for bringing this frivolous stuff to court. Thanks everyone. You're definitely not the a-hole. The top comment says, you would not be the a-hole. If you're having to show up in court and waste your time on this lady's stupidity, you might as well get something out of it. You'll be doing a public service to teach this lady a lesson about frivolous lawsuits. And the response says, OP should sue for the cake, OP's outfit the cake fell on, lawyer fees, the lost wages, and emotional distress. Yeah, that's unbelievable. So unbelievable that Jin woke up. He cannot believe this. Isn't he so cute? No, don't go, Ginny, no. No! I can't believe it. He left the basket. He's been in that basket for weeks. But yeah, back to what we're reading. This is so frustrating. Like, the absolute freaking audacity is out of control. Like, hey, instead of being a parent, you're saying that you're gonna sue me? Have you lost your mind? Yeah, counter-sue for sure, OP. Like, what a dingbat for real. Okay, post number 4. Am I the a-hole for not changing my annual backyard party plans for my boyfriend and his kids? I, 42 female, have been hosting an end of summer party with my neighbors for years. It's always the same setup. Adults and kids come and we all celebrate together. And at some point the kids go to sleep while the adults continue the evening. This year's plan was the same. I was going to bring my kids, 6 and 10 years old, inside to sleep at our home, which is right next to the backyard. From the balcony there is both audio and visual access to the yard, and my kids also have a phone they can use to call me if needed. After putting them to bed, I planned to go back to the backyard for a little while longer to enjoy the evening with friends. I invited my boyfriend of 6 months, 46 male, and his kids, 5 and 7, to join us. He declined, saying that he didn't feel comfortable leaving his kids to sleep at my place since they hadn't stayed there before. He also didn't like the idea of putting them to bed at my place while he stayed outside with me, or going to bed with them while I stayed outside. I told him that I understood completely, and I didn't have a problem with him choosing not to come, but then he got upset and said that he and his kids weren't actually welcome at the party because of the way the party was set up. I explained that this party's been running for years with the same format, and it's not really something that I can or want to change for one guest. My view is that guests can decide if the event works for them, and if not, they don't have to come. In his opinion, I should have left the party with him and our kids when it was bedtime. On top of that, during the party, I didn't have time to call him because I wanted to focus on my guests and enjoy the evening, and he was very hurt by this too, saying that I should have made time. And this all turned into a big argument. So, am I the a-hole for not changing the setup of a tradition and for not calling during the party to accommodate my boyfriend and his kids? The top comment says not the a-hole. He was testing the waters to see if he can control you, and now he's trying to manipulate you. You did nothing wrong. And the second top comment says not the a-hole. He literally could have just came for the party and then left with his kids when it got late if he didn't want them sleeping over. Like, that's it, full stop. But instead, he's mad. You've only known for a couple of months, wanted you to change a tradition that involves others. For what? Like, I still don't understand why he's so upset about this. It just doesn't make sense. And the response to that comment says he's testing how much he can pressure her to change and put his kids at the top of her priority list. She didn't change, so he got pissy. He's shopping for a mummy to foist his kids onto. And the comment below that says not the a-hole. He could have come and partied and then left with his kids. He wanted you to ditch this for him. Good on you for not doing so. And OP has this comment. I just posted this in the thread. I actually read all of your comments and I did a lot of thinking, and I realized this was not the first red flag that I was about to ignore and let go. So in order to protect my kids and myself, I ended the relationship yesterday. This hurts, but I know it was the right thing to do. So thank you all for sharing your thoughts. Yeah, very much a not the a-hole consensus. By the way, everybody, since Jin got out of the basket, he's just been wandering around. He's so cute. He just saunters around the room for ages. Now he's down here next to me. Jin. He walks around the room and he's super silly all day long. I love him very much. Don't stand on the keyboard. One time I was editing a video and I was super close to finishing the video, and Nez stood on the keyboard, and I don't know what she pressed, but it like ruined my whole project on Premiere Pro, what I was editing, and I couldn't fix it. And I had to start again. It was so annoying. Okay, the next one. Am I the a-hole for taunting my ex's widow after she lost her court case for visitation with my son? The father of my son, 4, left me for someone else when I, 25 female, was 6 months pregnant. Ex and this woman, Mavis, married when my son was 3 weeks old roughly. They demanded that she come to his visits with our son, and I refused. My reason? They said that he needed to get to know his mum as well as his dad, and she was definitely his mum now? What? They were married and everything. And yeah, that's how they argued it. Oh my god. They said he needed to get to know his mum as well as his dad, and she was definitely his mum now. What? I never stopped him from seeing our son, but I didn't allow her anywhere near my home. And our son was 10 months old before X could take him out for visitation. Then I could do nothing about her being there, but at least she wasn't calling herself my son's mum in my home. Yeah, what? She did join my ex every time he dropped our son home with me, and she would try to start a fight because I wouldn't let her hold him to say goodbye once X handed our son to me. She'd get mad that I would refuse to let her spend time alone with our son too. My ex was awarded every other weekend visitation when our son was 18 months old. He lost that visitation when our son was 2 because his wife tried to take our son out of daycare without permission, and the cops had to be called. He went back to visits at my house and she was not allowed near my house or my son. That softened after a few more months. She had to issue an apology and take some classes, and then every other weekend restarted. Then my ex died last year. My son was with me at the time, so there was no fight to get him back, or her trying to run with him or anything. And I think she would have tried to keep my son if my ex died during his visitation weekends. Mavis then tried to sue me for shared custody as his other parent. That case was thrown out because she was not a legal parent, and she had no parental rights to my son. Instead, she tried to sue for visitation, and unfortunately that went to court. It took a few months and we had 2 dates before the judge in order to get a ruling. She was denied visitation. It was decided that she had not played a big enough role in my son's life and she wasn't his family anymore. I was relieved. Mavis was screaming about appeals as we left the court. She tried to confront me a week after court and I was feeling so done with her crap, and I taunted her and I told her she would never be in my son's life again and to go and F herself because she's all alone now. And with the way that she acts, it didn't surprise me. She started screaming after me, but I kept going. It was only afterward I wondered if it was unfair because she did lose my ex and she might have felt some genuine care for my son. I don't know. I think she's just unhinged, but maybe I was still an a-hole. Am I the a-hole? This comment says not the a-hole. She wanted your child for her own. Yeah, and it looks like given the option, she will try to steal him anyway. Be very aware and protect him and you. And OP said, I've got a ton of protection measures in place. I had to do that before my ex died because I never trusted her after that daycare incident. Yeah, very not the a-hole, and definitely not the a-hole consensus in the comments. The comment below that comment says, nope, she does sound unhinged. I'd consider moving and making sure that she doesn't know where. Not the a-hole. Wow, Jin's back, yay. Yeah, very much a not the a-hole consensus. This comment says move and or file a restraining order, not the a-hole. The one below it says not the a-hole, she tried to steal your child. And the comment below that says, as a former stepmom who would have been devastated to lose her stepkid, I want to say you're the a-hole, but having read the situation, absolutely not the a-hole. I was so careful about not taking the place of her mother. She had a mother. I was my nickname. Post number 6. Am I the a-hole for being willing to end my marriage because I refused to uproot my kids from their life to follow my stepkids? My wife and I have been together for 4 years and married for almost 2. We both have kids. My daughter's 11 and my son's 9. We lost their mum when they were younger. My wife had been divorced for many years and shared custody of her 15 and 16-year-olds with her ex until a few months ago when he was granted permission to move to another state with their kids because their kids wanted to go with their dad. My wife doesn't want to be away from her kids for long periods of time and she has told me that she's moving. She feels like she needs to be near her kids and I support this. But I won't move my kids away from family and friends and stability to do this. My kids don't want to move either. They heard my wife mention it several weeks ago and they told me they don't want to leave. They'd miss everybody too much. I already know the life that my kids have here is what they need and it's where they thrive. I explained this to my wife and she was defeated. She told me that we can't make a marriage work if I'm here and she's there. And I said I agree and I told her that I believe the best way forward would be to divorce. She was upset by this of course and we talked and I comforted her and she asked me if there was anything she could say or do to make me reconsider. I told her that I won't move my children and I would never ask her to be apart from her kids for months at a time. I said we're both committed to the best interest of our individual children and that means doing what's right for them even if it's not right for us as a couple. She asked for us to talk it out some more and we have. We've talked it out extensively but all the while she's been making arrangements for a place where her ex and kids now live and a new job. I think she believed that I would change my mind the more that we discussed everything, but I have not. And now she's angry that I'd rather our marriage end than move so that we can all be together as a family. But I know that's not what's best for my kids. Am I the a-hole? This comment says not the a-hole, you both are putting the kids first, which is what good parents do. Unfortunately, the kids' needs are at odds, so that means the marriage has to take a back seat until they're all adults. Good luck. And the comment below that says not the a-hole, as a parent you need to do what's best for your kids. It's sad that your marriage will have to end, but it is unfair to uproot your kids. Even more so since her kids choose to live with their dad and are older teens who will become more and more independent in the coming years. And the comment below that says your children are so lucky to have such an amazing father. And OP said thank you. I truly want to be the best dad I can be to them. They already lost their mum and I don't want them to feel like they had a dad who didn't put them first. Yeah, good job OP. Okay, moving on, the next one. Am I the a-hole for taking my daughter out for a nice dinner and leaving everybody else to fend for themselves? My daughter 16 female and I 43 female love eating at authentic Asian restaurants. We had to pick my son 12 up at a Korean barbecue about 40 minutes away from our house. It was a party with another family. I suggested to my husband, 44 male of 25 years, that he and the other 2 kids can have whatever they wanted for dinner, and my daughter and I would get Korean barbecue at this restaurant. He said no, we should all go as a family. I reminded him that he and the other kids aren't big fans of Korean barbecue, and it would be cheaper to eat separately. He insisted on everybody going. When we get to the restaurant and he sees the menu, he complains that he doesn't know what to order and complains about the price. The other kids followed suit. I suggested they go eat in another restaurant in the plaza, and my daughter and I will get the Korean food. It smelled so amazing, by the way. We waited 20 minutes for a table and he continued to make comments about the price. Even told me, "You better not order anything fancy." That was the final straw. I got up and I went to the van. Everybody followed. I said I was taking everybody home and my daughter and I would go on our own to a local Korean barbecue. We did exactly that. Everybody else had McDonald's and played Roblox. I get home and he's fuming, saying that I owe everybody an apology. And I refused. I said I had zero remorse. It seems like everybody was happy but him, and went to bed. I slept perfectly fine. He's still mad. So am I the a-hole for taking my daughter out for a dinner and leaving everybody else to do their own thing? No, you're not the a-hole, OP, and so annoying of your husband. I said my daughter and I would get Korean barbecue at this restaurant. He said no, we should all go as a family. I reminded him that he and the other kids aren't big fans of Korean barbecue, and it would also be cheaper to eat separately. He insisted on everybody going, and then continued to complain the whole time, and still there was nothing that he wanted. And like OP said, the other kids followed suit. You better not order anything fancy. That's so annoying. The top comment says, "Not the a-hole. You told him what your plan was, and he and you both knew that he and the other kids didn't like Korean barbecue. There's nothing wrong with doing things separately occasionally." This comment says, "There's nothing worse than having a whiny husband who insists on joining you and then makes the experience miserable." I remember one time my then husband insisted on coming shopping with me and bringing our son, 9 months at the time. I went into a store to look for clothes. He stood at the entrance of the store looking out, being impatient. I went up to him and asked what he thought of this top. His response, "You don't need it." I put it back and I left, telling him in the future, please don't do me any favors by joining me. He never went with me ever again, even if he wanted to. Not the a-hole. Yeah, and now OP's husband is angry at OP. What? This comment says, "Not the a-hole. What the heck is he doing saying you better not order anything fancy?" As a threat after standing there fuming about prices, after complaining that he doesn't know what to order. Good for you for getting up and leaving and taking everybody home, and then returning on your own with your daughter. He expected you to cave under his continued whining and pressure, and then go wherever he wanted to go. How often does he ruin the evening for you, and subsequently ruin the evening for the kids? He's the only one unhappy now. It's because he didn't get to ruin your evening, because you didn't give in to him. You're very much not the a-hole in the comments. And the next one says, "Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend that she's gonna have to get over dirt if she wants kids?" My 25 female girlfriend, Amy 27 female, is a wonderful person. She's very smart, she works in a clean room with computer chips and stuff. But she's also something of a germaphobe, to the point that she keeps her toothbrush in the hallway outside the bathroom in a zip-locked bag. Her apartment is always spotless. She showers twice or thrice a day. Even her car somehow never has any dirt on the floor. She hand washes all of her clothes as soon as she's done wearing them. It's both impressive and also intimidating. I'm not the messiest person on the planet by any means. I don't have massive piles of unwashed dishes or a leaning tower of used pizza boxes, but I'm not as clean as she is. I'm not against making some adjustments, but we've been talking more about the future now and that we're getting serious, and I've come across a problem. Amy wants kids, like desperately wants kids. I'd like kids too, but she's never been around babies or little kids before in her life. And she seems to think that she'll be able to keep the house just as clean as it is now and keep the baby spotless too. I'm the oldest of 4 and the oldest cousin of 9. I grew up around kids and I've been babysitting since I was 10. There's no such thing as a clean toddler. Not for longer than 10 minutes at the very most. She thinks that if we work at it, we can have a spotless house and a spotless kid. I told her gently that that's not really possible. and I asked her how she plans on handling diapers and vomit and frogs smuggled into the house, jam going everywhere, soup bowls tipped over for fun, spilt grape juice and nail polish on the walls and the like. She insisted that the kids who do that are just poorly trained and they don't have good boundaries. I told her that they're kids without fine motor control or impulse regulation, and accidents will always happen. And if she does want to have kids, she's going to have to accept that they're going to get messy, and our house will get messy. Amy accused me of not being supportive and trying to find excuses not to have kids with her, and trying to guilt her into being sloppier. This is dissolving into an actual fight instead of a discussion, and I'm starting to second guess myself. Maybe my family was just excessively messy because we were rural and poor. Maybe my standards are too low, and we really haven't tried hard enough. It's very frustrating, and I want some outside perspective, parental perspective especially. The top comment says, "Dad of 2 here, and you're not the a-hole, and you're right. Messes are inevitable with kids. You can't work at getting a newborn to not spit up, or not pee during a diaper change. Yeah, potty training exists of course, but you're going to be dealing with so many accidents, so many late night sheet changes. You'll find food on your kids in the weirdest, most random places. She needs to lower her expectations or she is going to be horribly disappointed." And the response says, "And all the joy will be regimented out of those kids' lives, as they live in fear of mum's wrath anytime they generate a speck of dirt." And the response to that says this: "Her child will be so trained that all the innocence and joys of being a child are just non-existent." The second top comment says, "Just when you think you've cleaned up all the poop and mess, you find a casual pile of vomit behind a pillow." This comment says, "Keep the baby spotless." Sorry, what? Your girlfriend needs a hairless cat, not a baby. Not the a-hole. Yeah, and the comment about training the kids too. Like saying that the sort of kids that make a mess aren't trained well enough. Or in this case, like a newborn isn't trained well enough. One of the top comments says, "Not the a-hole, she has no clue at all. She thinks that she'll just command little kids to be nice and clean. Has she met a toddler? Because they can and will do what the they want. And they'll do it in the most you way just to spite you." The comment below that says, "The fact that she said that children that are messy are poorly trained is quite disturbing. It makes me think that she'll be controlling and abusive as a mum if she only sees the kid as somebody that needs to be trained. My dad treated me like a project that needed to be broken and trained to be the perfect human. I didn't meet his standards ever, and now we don't have a relationship. I've left channels open for him to reach out if he actually cared, but he hasn't since asking if I changed my number. I've got PTSD because of him, as well as from traumas that are directly linked to how he treated me growing up. There is a chance that her maternal instincts would kick in and change her perspective to a less harmful one, but I don't know if I'd ever chance it. Not the a-hole, but I think it'd be wise to go to therapy together and individually. If she's not willing, I'd break up and find somebody else." As always, let me know what you think in the comments. And the next one is called, "Am I the a-hole for telling my best friend I don't want her boyfriend to come on my holiday vacation? My family and I go on Christmas vacation every year, and this year it's just my mum and I. I decided to invite my best friend to have somebody to go out with since my old mama doesn't like to go out too late. My mum had paid for the hotels and we only had to pay for our flights. Since I invited my friend, she started dating somebody new who I've yet to hang out with and get to really know. Today, she dropped the bomb on me that her boyfriend wants to come down for the second half of our trip so they can spend New Year's together. I totally understand with a new crush, love you, want to be together and have special moments with, but I feel like I'm going to be turned into a third wheel on a vacation I invited her to be a part of. We're spending the first half in a quiet town in France and the second half in Paris, where we've both talked about going to for a while, and we talked about going out to bars and clubs together once my mum goes back to the hotel in the evening. I feel kind of used that okay, you'll take the free hotel for the first half, but when we get to Paris you'll leave me for your boyfriend. Even if she did leave to go do stuff with her boyfriend, I'd feel awkward knowing that we're both in a country that we talked about visiting together for so long, but not hanging out with each other. When she asked today and I said I didn't feel comfortable, she seemed pissed off, and we kinda dropped the conversation. I just had a whole girl trip planned out and now I feel like including somebody I barely know is gonna throw off the whole vibe. Am I an a-hole to stick to my no, he's not welcome stance, even if it causes a rift in our friendship? I don't even need to say it, do I? It's a not the a-hole consensus. The top comment says, "Not the a-hole, you invited your friend, not a +1 that you barely know. Your trip, your vibe, third wheeling on your own vacation sounds miserable." This comment says, "Not the a-hole, how tacky to invite him without even consulting you first, and then having the goddamn audacity to be mad at you for saying no. If it causes a rift, that's a good thing. She needs to learn manners." This comment says, hey, I was looking for a fun girls trip with my bestie. I don't think being the third wheel at a New Year's Eve party will be much fun. I will understand if you don't want to come. See what she decides, and if she chooses to stay home, ask a different friend to come. This comment says, not the a-hole, I can see you feeling like a third wheel. Plus, where was he gonna stay? Did she or did he invite himself to somebody else's holiday? I'd stick with the no. And this one says, not the a-hole, not only is she an a-hole, but so's he. I don't know if he planned on paying his own way or just sharing her room, but it sounds horrible. I would never think to ask my bestie to let a guy that I'm just getting to know, and that she's never met, just come around like this. And this one says, not the a-hole, if this is a girls trip, I'm confused why she thought bringing a boyfriend was appropriate. If she wants to be a grown-up about this, she should back out now if she wants to prioritize her boyfriend, so then you can ask somebody else. Okay, the next one. Would I be the a-hole if I don't return the car that my friend bought me as a birthday present? Did I read that right? It was my birthday a few weeks ago and my friend Luke bought me a car as a birthday present because I didn't have one. It's nothing fancy, but I'm beyond grateful to him because having a car has made my life so much easier. Unfortunately, my boyfriend's not happy that Luke gave me such an expensive gift. He said that it's inappropriate for another man to buy me a car, so he wants me to return it. Most of our friends are on his side, and they agreed that it's weird for Luke to have bought me the car. I've known Luke my whole life and he's practically family, so I don't see it the same way as them. None of my family find it weird, and my brother told me that Luke said that I should sell the car if I didn't want it, but that he wouldn't be taking it back. I keep fighting with my boyfriend over the car and he refuses to even sit in it now, but I really don't think I should return it as I know Luke and he'll just be offended. Would I be the a-hole if I don't return it? Okay, so does OP have any comments? OP said he doesn't have any romantic feelings for me at all. OP also commented, I don't know a lot about cars, so I'm not too sure about how much it cost. But it's a Volkswagen Polo, and I'm in the UK if that helps. Compared to me, he's well off, but if you ask him, he'd say that he's comfortable. We've never had a romantic relationship, we're just friends. And then OP said the car's a few years old. It's only a few years old? Like just to help OP out? A few-year-old Volkswagen Polo's not cheap. OP has a comment that says if any of my other friends had bought me the car, I probably wouldn't be comfortable accepting it either. But Luke's like family to me, so it's like my brother or dad buying me a car. My brother and Luke are best friends, so my brother told him about the situation, which is why my brother told me how Luke feels. I can speak to him openly myself. This comment says, did you ever at any point have a sexual relationship with Luke? Or been aware that Luke has a giant crush on you? If the answer's yes to either, you're the a-hole. If the answer's no, then keep the car and tell your boyfriend to quit complaining. Yeah, because OP said that their family doesn't think it's weird. None of my family find it weird. And my brother told me that Luke said that I should sell the car if I didn't want it, but that he wouldn't take it back. I feel like that's pretty telling that OP's entire family doesn't find it weird. That wouldn't have been a very cheap car, like just to help you out. Okay, but yeah, that is definitely unusual. This comment says, not the a-hole, but I'd be heavily questioning why Luke got you something so expensive. No matter if it is fancy or not, it's a car. That's a high-level gift that I'd only give to my fiancé or immediate family. Yeah, the comments are all over the place. Like this comment says, not the a-hole, your boyfriend sounds insecure and jealous. Keep the car, dump the boyfriend if the boyfriend doesn't change. And then there's this comment right next to that comment. You the a-hole, the people in these comments are wild. Keep the car, dump the boyfriend? I'm betting that's exactly what Luke wants. In a few months you'll post an update about how happy you and Luke are together. Do what you want, but this is not normal in the slightest, and your boyfriend is right to be concerned about it. And the comment below that says, you the a-hole, buying a car is a whole other level of gift. That's way outside the platonic level of gift giving. But then the top comment says, tell him you'll get rid of it as soon as the car he buys you gets there. And the second top comment says, shoot girl, keep the car and return the boyfriend to sender. His mama. And the third top comment says, return the boyfriend, keep the car. Yeah, all the top comments are not the a-hole. One of the top comments says, keep the car, lose the boyfriend. Because what is his solution to you not having a car? Is he gonna buy you one? Of course not. Dude needs to be quiet. But then under that, there's this comment. Holy, you in the comments are beyond naive and delusional. No, a normal person does not spend thousands of dollars on a gift for a friend because they've known each other for a long time. No, normal people don't spend thousands of dollars on anybody's birthday gift. Not even actual family or girlfriends. Is it 100% 100% certain Luke wants to sleep with you? No. Is it a 99.9% chance and your boyfriend's rightfully suspicious of the man who spent thousands of dollars with apparently no ulterior motives? And before people comment that he might just be rich, OP would have mentioned that. If it was absolutely no issue for him to be spending that money, we would have that info. You the a-hole, obviously. Edit, it's a £20,000 car. This dude spent like half the average yearly salary on a gift for a friend, as well as her saying that she'd be suspicious if anybody else was buying the car for her, but not Luke. And then the one under that says, keep the car, girl. Dump the guy if he's got a problem. People can be friends and that's a definite benefit. What an interesting post. Let me know what you think in the comments, everybody. Most of our friends are on my boyfriend's side and agreed that it is weird for Luke to have bought me the car. None of my family find it weird, and my brother told me that Luke said that I should sell the car if I didn't want it, but that he wouldn't take it back. But yeah, definitely is a not the a-hole consensus. But also, what did the boyfriend say, that he's not even gonna sit in it? I keep fighting with my boyfriend over the car and he refuses to even sit in it. I really don't think I should return it, as I know Luke and he'll be offended. And the boyfriend is saying that he wants OP to return the car, and the boyfriend won't even sit in the car. Like, what is him not sitting in the car achieving? I understand being confused about it, because yeah, that's a huge gift. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And thank you for watching today's episode, everybody. That was such a fun episode. The comment of the day goes to Lachlan Meadow. Nez looks positively traumatized from the story. Protect the goose at all costs. Yeah, maybe that's why she hasn't been in the basket. She does sleep in the basket a lot when I'm not filming videos, so maybe the horrifying stories did horrify her. The poor beautiful goose. Thank you for the comment and thank you for the support, everybody. Okay, I'm out of here. Make sure you look after yourself, everybody, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!